Alright guys, after last week's cliffhanger, I say we get right into this. The Walking Dead episode is called Isolation, I believe. Damn! I tell you what, I'm glad they started off showing early on in the season the conflict that they showed that's notorious in the comic book between Rick and Tyrese. I mean, Tyrese becomes Rick's right-hand man in the comic, but when they butt heads, it's epic, and they're definitely displaying that in the TV show, and I like that. I do eventually want to see them, push this aside and do the right-hand man kind of thing. It's kind of hard though, because you have Daryl. Daryl has moved up as not really Rick's right-hand man right now, because Rick is kind of sidelined. Daryl would be Rick's go-to guy, and maybe you can have two right-hand men, so I don't know, we'll see. Alright, I'm a little nervous. I mean, I like Glenn. I don't want Glenn to go out with the flu, so they need to get some antibiotics or whatever. They need to fix this, because Glenn can't go out. I'd rather Negan get Glenn, or however you say it, Negan. Anyway, I'd rather Negan beat him up with Lucille than the flu kill him. So I'm a little nervous right now for Glenn. And damn, Rick Tyrese up. Did you see his eye? He looks like a monster now. And he's a big dude, so with his deformity and his size, he'd be pretty damn scary coming after you if you found out that you burned his girlfriend alive. Ouch. Oh, as far as Tyrese and his explosion, going after Daryl and going after Rick, well, not really going after, but kind of being aggressive. I think we can understand that. We can kind of relate, because in this world, when you find somebody in the Walking Dead universe, it means more than when you find someone in real life, because there's less people out there. There's less chances that you're going to find someone, connect with them. She was a good-looking girl. I mean, she seemed like a nice, sweet girl. When they said she had to go into quarantine, she didn't bitch, moan, complain, cry about it. She was like, shit, I got you, I'm going, and so-and-so is sick too, we should bring him. You know what I mean? Like, she went like a trooper, and it's a shame what happened to her. So I understand Tyrese's anger, frustration, and his, he's pissed. So, and we get that. They showed two, creepy ass zombies. One, I don't even think we've ever seen before, which would be, actually, neither one. The moss. This zombie's been there so long, he's got moss growing on him. And then, his bottom half, Lord only knows, maybe he got eaten and that's just like, how he died or whatever, but his bottom half is gone. Then you had the zombie, a woman had stepped into a bear trap, and her leg's all gnarly, the bear trap's just on there, and she's dragging this thing around the woods. That's awesome. I'd love seeing that. It just shows, it's not like the zombie's there, you know what I mean, and it's just that one little area. Obviously, that zombie got caught in a bear trap, and it just shows there's more going on in the outside world. It just makes the world a little bigger when you do little things like that. Like, for no reason whatsoever, I would like to see in zombie movies more of, if you see a zombie with, bullet marks or whatever, just, or maybe a bow and arrow in them, to show that somebody was defending themselves against this zombie. For no reason. We don't even need to know who or ever see who does it. Maybe an axe is hanging out of them. So, I applaud you. That was good shit with the bear trap. I like shit like that. As far as what happened in the story, not so much. Carl, no. Maggie went to her sister, who is still standing firm on. She's doing good. She's really not trying to let the emotional aspect of how bad the situation is bring her down. She's trying to be like a rock to build her house on, that strong place. And she's trying to pass that on to Maggie, who, I guess she's hearing it. She understands it, but, when you're in her predicament where she might very well lose the person she's grown to love for the past year or so. So she really doesn't want to hear it, You have Carol, who she just had her heart broken with the little girl she was supposed to take care of is now sick. And there's really, as right now, there's no hope for the people who are getting sick. You get sick, and we're already looking at them like they're going to turn, they're dead, it's done. Some are obviously dying from their sickness a lot sooner than others. Again, I hope Glenn pulls through. I'm pretty sure he will. I don't think they'll kick him, get him off the show with the flu. I don't agree with that. But Carl, I want to show I really like what they're doing with his character. I liked how Carl shot that kid when he wasn't supposed to, because that was in last season. The kid from Woodbury is running up. He has his gun, and he's like, I give up, I give up. He goes to set his gun down. Now, as he's doing this, I'm like, oh, great. It's in like every other movie where they're going to be like, oh, he's setting his gun down. Let me just, and then rolls a reverse, and he's like, I'm not setting it down. Bang, bang. You know what I mean? So the whole time I'm thinking, if I could shoot him, just shoot him. Just shoot him. You know what I mean? He came there to kill y'all, just shoot him. And then Carl shoots him. And I was like, oh, shit. All right. And then everyone else was like, whoa, you crossed the line. And then I was like, well, then what's wrong with me? Anyway, so I like how they're making Carl not fight with his dad. We've already seen that. That's done to death in TV shows, movies. That whole, he's kind of, he looks up to his father, and now he's not arguing with Herschel about certain things. They definitely could have played that scene out a lot different and made it aggravating to watch, but it was very nice to see. And then Carl was going to shoot that one zombie, and Herschel says simply, you don't need to. And he doesn't. And they walk off. Now, they do have very different perspectives on things. The Herschel is like, look at this, it's a beautiful day out. The woods are nice. I mean, just the sounds, except for the gurgling zombies, the sounds of the woods are nice. And then Carl is, he's in reality. It can't be like that all the time, because right around that tree is a friggin' zombie with a bear trap attached to her, bleeding leg. Herschel had a real nice speech. I mean, he pretty much shut Rick and Maggie up. Anyway, how about Carol's outburst? Tyrese asks her for help. I mean, she looked a little irritated at first, trying to get the water, and then he asked her for help looking on Sasha, and she seems fine. She's, a little emotional. This is a rough thing that everyone's going through, and she says that she's sorry about what happened to his girl. I don't even know her name. What happened to his girl, and he gives her a look. Okay, I accept your whatever. And he goes, and she just cries, freaks out, kicks the water down. And I thought that thing was empty, but I guess not, because water spills out. And then she's like, oh shit, I spilled the water, and she's got to pick it back up. But that whole little thing with Carol is a bitch. Did you set those people on fire? Like, come on now, because what was that about, And me personally, I'm thinking she set them on fire. Maybe not. Maybe she's just going through it, you know what I mean? But I think she did set them on fire. So, even though Maggie's sister is sticking with that mantra of you can't let it affect you, whatever, we see it breaking down. We see her breaking down a little bit. She's starting to let a little of the emotion come through. Sheds a tear or two. Now, obviously, you can tell yourself all day long, you know what I mean? You don't feel pain. You don't feel sadness. You don't feel sadness. You're not hurt. You're not whatever. You can lie to yourself as much as you want. But at the end of the day, once it builds up, it will overflow. And that's pretty much what's happening with her character. That's understandable, Still not really seeing anything about Glenn. I guess they're just kind of leaving that in the dark and showing us later. But so Daryl, Michonne, Bob, I just don't understand that. Anyway, Daryl, Michonne, Bob, and Tyrese, they go out on this 50-mile journey to get antibiotics. And Daryl clips a zombie, clips another one, clips a third or whatever, swerves a little bit. And he regains, control of the car, and the car stops, and they're just staring at something. So they pan the camera around, and it started to be an oh shit moment, like one of those where when you see it and you're just like, oh shit, you know? And in 5 seconds it went from, as the camera kept panning, to an oh shit moment to a double oh shit moment. I mean, really oh shit, you know? You just see a mass field of, it's like throwing, you go outside and during the summer and you throw a candy bar on the ground, come back and you see this, just the candy bar is gone, it's completely covered in a pile of ants. That is the size of this herd. It's probably a mega herd, seriously, you know what I mean? It's just zombie walkers as far as the eye can see. You can't even see the grass, the street, the road. I mean, you can see off in the distance there's some building, you know what I mean, or some trees and whatnot, but you can't see the environment anymore. It's just literally covered with walkers. And they get out of the car, they run. Tyrese, I don't even know what the hell he's thinking about, but maybe his sister who's dying of the flu. You know, obviously they can't make it to the antibiotics now. Like, that's it. I don't know how far they got, but they're on foot now, you know. So he gets out of the car and he just goes ape shit and takes his hammer and just starts bashing zombie brains in, you know. And that they took from the comic book, and I really like that they took that one from the comic. But the one in the comic was pretty badass. It was actually inside the prison, and it was in the cafeteria, I believe. I forget what they were doing in the comic exactly, but they were going in and they got just swamped with zombies. And I think it was Chris in the comic and somebody else. They had to leave, and they seen the herd just take Tyrese over. Just he's gone. So they close it up after Tyrese is presumed dead. And I think Rick later comes back, or someone comes back, and they realize or discover that Tyrese is actually, let me pause that, Marilyn Manson's on The Talking Dead. I think I just seen that. Yeah, so they realized that Tyrese survived, killed all the zombies in the cafeteria, and I guess he was just chilling there taking a nap when they found him or whatever. I'm real curious to see where they go, because he's not dead. I mean, this isn't the end. You're not dead in TV or whatchamacallit, movies, until you see their body, you know, brains out, gunshots, dead in the ground. Even then, sometimes they're not really dead. So it is over now. One thing I didn't touch upon before is Bob. Yeah, he's not it. He's not the suspect number one anymore, and he's definitely not after Carol's revelation, which I didn't want to say anything before, but I kind of had I concocted a little what happened scenario, and mine had Carol involved, but she didn't actually kill him. I was thinking that those two little girls or whatever, I was thinking that they did it, that they actually murdered them, you know, and Carol burned their bodies to hide the evidence of them being murdered, per se, or murdered in that way, you know, which really doesn't make sense. That was probably stupid to begin with. When Rick found that bloody handprint, I thought he was going to be like, you know, the handprint was ridiculously low or something to prove it was kids, and she covered it up. But he asked if you killed them, and she was pretty much like, yeah, you know what I mean, I did it, and what, bitch, and she walked off. Now, why did I blame it on the kids? I'm eager to blame some shit on the kids, because in the comic, spoiler alert, there was a kid, Ben, and I believe Andrea and Dale. Remember Dale from season 2 and 1? They took the children in, kind of like how Carol is on the show. And one of the boys, I believe his name was Ben, he murdered his brother, stabbed him to death, and he said it was okay because he didn't hurt the brain, so he'll come back to life. So he didn't really kill him. You know, it was kind of one of those messed up things, how it kind of showed how a kid can get messed up in the zombie apocalypse afterlife. Anyway, And I like what happened. I want them to do a storyline like that in The Walking Dead, and I wish they would hurry up because Carl's getting a little too old if they keep on waiting, because in the comic, somebody sneaks in and kills the little kid, and no one knows who it is, and they think Rick did it or somebody did it, and here it was Carl, which was pretty cool. I wish they kept that in the story, but I'm kind of curious to see where they're going to go with Carol being the killer. Yeah, I still kind of feel that something is up. I don't know. Maybe she just was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to stop this virus. I have these kids to look after. I'm going to just brutally murder these people, because she did do it brutally. It was with a knife or something. She either beat them to death or stabbed them to death, because there was that puddle of blood, or the where they dragged the bodies. So they were violently exterminated and then drug out to be burnt. So I want a good reason for Carol to do it. Maybe it is a good reason to say, I did do it because I wanted to stop that virus, or that plague, the new plague, the Z plague, from killing us all. Anyway, I'm starting not to think that Black Bob is a inside man for the governor. I think maybe they are just sticking with the comic book, as he's just an old war vet drunk that's unsure of himself, the situations, but he is very capable. He is somebody you can have around, and, he didn't hesitate shooting a zombie in the head, He's like, all right, let's do this, But he's unsure of himself, you know what I'm saying? He's, I guess a person like that feels more like themselves when they're drunk, and then when they're going through sobriety, and especially if they're not taking the steps the right way, they're different. They're a little more internal. I don't even know why we're talking about sobriety and whatnot, but I think this was a great episode to show the new threats, and I think the two new threats this episode showed was, one, obviously, flu, virus, anything like that, being unclean, germs, sickness, that is a huge thing. A huge way. They said the virus doesn't actually kill you. That's why if they get medicine, they can cure that. It's the symptoms that kill you, like the fever. I'm sure if they got a fever of 110 degrees, their brain's going to boil and they'll die, That's probably what happened to Patrick, because he went into the shower, to turn on cold water. He was probably having a fever, high as shit, and died. So there's that. There's the virus. The second threat is in season 1, 2, and not so much 3, but 1 and 2, we had herds. You know what I mean? Now, I hope we see more. It's looking like we're going to see more of these mega herds. A herd so big it looks like the population of a small town or a small city or of some sort. And it literally looks like the population of a city just came out of Georgia and was standing there when Daryl, Michonne, and Bob were trying to get the hell up out of there. So I do want to see more of those two threats. The one's kind of, you can't really, you can't see it. The one, I don't want to sit here forever on a virus. You got to change it up a little bit, and I think they could do a real good job. But as far as the mega herds and the mega hordes of zombies, I want to see more mega herd of zombies. I think that is awesome, and that's just so terrifying. They came around the corner and saw that many zombies, and I was literally like, oh, shit. What do you do? What do you do? You're done. I mean, done. Unless you're Tyrese and you just, wrecking ball through that shit, you know what I mean? I don't know, but there's not much of a cliffhanger leading us into episode 4. However, I'm still wondering what's up with Carol and what's going to happen, once Tyrese finds out Carol did it, especially after Tyrese asked her to watch Sasha, and he thanked her and complimented her on being a caring person. So, I don't know. Shit's going to go down with that. Now, is Rick going to lie, about it? Is Rick going to keep her secret? It could be, because in the next episode we see previews of him and Carol. It looks like going off looking for medicine in houses. And it looks like they're, I hope they don't. Anyway. Yeah, I might do another quick little whatever. I have to make my daughter breakfast and get my day started. So, and I am coming to the point where I'll be able to do these reviews longer. So, keep in mind, these are quickie reviews. I think I did ramble on a little bit. But these are just little quickie reviews. And I am setting things up to do longer reviews. It's just a time constraint between seeing it and getting the review out there. It's just I have a limited amount of time to literally record the review. And yeah, so like I said, a few more episodes hopefully, and I'll have a good chunk of time to actually work on these. So again, you know what, at the end of the let's do something different. Comment below. Let me know, what did you like about this episode? What did you not like about this episode? And what are you looking forward to? Or what are you looking forward to in the upcoming episodes? And is anyone out there actually looking forward to the governor's story? Or are you guys pretty much like, he's gone, I like that he's gone. If he comes back, I hope he just gets killed real quick, This is me personally. I do want to stretch that out a little. I wouldn't even mind if it went from this season spilled into next season and then he gets killed, as long as they do the story right. If we come back and we see the governor and he's gnarly and more like the comic book, raggedy, and he's just cold and a vicious bastard, it would be pretty cool to see the governor come back and get Rick in a situation where he's going to chop off his hand, or at least we think so, and he pretty much just puts a knife through it. I thought that would have been a nice variation, as opposed to cutting off his hand, if they ever wanted to do a scene reminiscent in the comic book, because you see his hand wrapped up now. I just think it's funny. I don't want to see a Rick without an arm, and I'm glad they didn't do that. And it would suck as an actor. I think he would get sick of playing a guy without one arm, because you just close your fist and you're doing this the whole time. And I know Robert Kirkman said that he knew he cut off Rick's arm too early in the story, too early on, and that was a big mistake. And if he would have, if he can go back in time, and again, I'm paraphrasing, I'm elaborating, he probably didn't even, but he definitely said he cut his hand off too early in the story. I gotta go, but comment below, let me know what you looking forward to, what do you like, and what didn't you like. Alright guys.